The NBA season is finally here, and you want to put a little money on the line. But you aren't sure if it's a good idea to bet on NBA. You are probably thinking about the possible losses, and if you could actually make money or not. Well, with the fast-paced nature of basketball, there's so much action to bet on, beyond just who wins or loses, and that's what makes it such a unique opportunity compared to other sports. Today, I'll break down why the NBA is a goldmine for betting, and give you a strategy to start turning those games into guaranteed profit. So, why is the NBA season such a goldmine for bettors? Well, unlike other sports where you might have only a couple of games per week, NBA teams play 3 to 4 games each week, and every matchup brings fresh opportunities. Not only does this give us more chances to bet, but it also creates a ton of data to work with. And the more data we have, the smarter our bets can be. Another factor that sets the NBA apart is the scoring. Games are high-paced, with constant changes on the scoreboard, which is perfect for in-game or live betting. More on that in a bit. Basketball's format allows bettors to adjust their strategies mid-game, giving an edge to those who know how to read the momentum. Plus, with the league's global popularity, bookmakers keep the lines sharp, which means if you know how to spot the patterns, there's real potential to profit consistently. And let's not forget, NBA stars are constantly in the spotlight. Player injuries, trades, and even travel schedules can impact games. If you are a savvy bettor, you can take advantage of this by staying updated and capitalizing on small changes that the odds makers might not fully adjust for. Alright, you now understand why NBA is a goldmine for sports bettors. But how do you actually make money? Well, one of the best routes you can take is live betting. You're watching a game and within minutes you're spotting opportunities to turn a profit right in the moment. Live betting lets you make bets as the game unfolds, which can be powerful because you're working with real-time information. Now, the key to live betting is watching for swings in momentum. In a game as dynamic as basketball, teams go on scoring runs and often swing back and forth. This is where the money lies. Let's say you bet on the favorite team before the game, but then the underdog comes out strong in the first quarter and builds an early lead. Because the odds will shift dramatically to favor the underdog, you can now place a second bet on the favorite at better odds. By covering both sides at favorable odds, you've just locked in a profit, regardless of who wins. This might sound like a lot to keep track of, but once you get the hang of it, it's an effective strategy that lets you take advantage of in-game odds fluctuations. And then we have injuries. If there's one thing that can swing a game and turn odds on their head, it's when a key player goes down. In the NBA, star players can make a massive difference. What I am saying is that a single injury can mean the difference between a comfortable win and a tough loss for any team. This is where injury-based betting comes in. If you're quick and informed, you can use this knowledge to make some smart bets. Here's how it works. Let's say a team's top scorer or best defender is out for the game, whether due to injury, rest, or last-minute changes. Odds makers do adjust lines for major injuries, but they don't always adjust immediately, especially if the news breaks close to game time. By staying up to date on team reports, news, or even players' social media, yes, players often drop clues, you can place a bet before the odds fully reflect the injury's impact. This gives you an edge over casual bettors who might not be paying as close attention. Another approach to injury-based betting is looking at how teams perform without certain players. Some teams are surprisingly resilient, with role players stepping up when a star is out, while others crumble without their leader. Understanding these dynamics is crucial. For example, if a team typically scores fewer points without a certain player, betting on the under for that game could be a solid play. The key is to know the team's depth, their typical rotations, and how they respond to these changes. When you've got this insight, you're not just betting on stats, you're betting on strategy and context. If you want a strategy that is both simple in theory and super effective, you should go with arbitrage betting. If you're unfamiliar, this involves finding differences in odds between various sports books and betting on all possible outcomes of an event in a way that guarantees a profit. This might sound too good to be true, but it's entirely legal, and with a little bit of research, you can start to see how to make it work. Let's break it down. Say two sports books have different opinions on a game's outcome, so their odds vary slightly. By strategically placing bets on all possible outcomes with those differing odds, you can ensure that you'll win no matter what happens. This can take some patience and time to find the right opportunities, but there are tools and websites that help spot these discrepancies, making it easier to take advantage of them. Now, beyond arbitrage, another effective betting approach is positive EV or expected value betting. The idea here is to place bets that have a long-term expected value, meaning you're not just betting based on who you think will win, but on the value of the odds relative to the true probability of the outcome. When you bet with positive EV, you're placing wagers where the payout is statistically likely to be higher than the risk in the long run. This means that even if you don't win every bet, over time, you're consistently beating the odds and turning a profit. It's a little more advanced because you'll need to understand probabilities, odds, and how they intersect. But if you're serious about making consistent returns, learning positive EV betting can make all the difference. Now that we've gone through strategies, tips, and best practices, I want to hear from you. Which NBA teams are you looking at this season? Do you have any favorite betting strategies or tips you swear by? And if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest insights.